Hello. Have you ever had to work a minimum wage job and not be able to make your bills meet? The federal minimum wage currently is $7.25, and it's been that since 2009. This wage is considered insufficient for the standard cost of living. Some people would even consider the current minimum wage a poverty wage. A person would work 40 hours and still not even make enough money to pay their bills. I started my job at $7.25 an hour, and I would work 40 hours a week, and then I also get paid every 2 weeks, not every week, so my paychecks would be maybe $300-400 an hour. With that being said, you really can't afford that much, especially in this society. I want to talk about the reasons why the minimum wage should be $7.25 and get the understanding that a lot of people struggle with getting paid $7.25 an hour. Do you know what it's like to be a 30-year-old living at home because you can't afford your bills because of the minimum wage? The issue is that you cannot live getting paid minimum wage. According to a study I did, the Center of Hunger for Communities, they mentioned that this wage was never a living wage, and overtime no longer shows value in workers and does not support families. Which, how are you supposed to support a family or even yourself getting paid $7.25 an hour? Another thing that I saw was that many states and cities have higher minimum wage in place, more than double in some cases, and still don't meet their ends with how much they get paid. Some people will argue with the higher wage that businesses will increase costs, which will lead to job losses, and that higher wages should slow down the economic growth. What the thing with is yes, if you hire the minimum wage, other things might cost more, but because I know in one place the minimum wage is $15 an hour, and then you go to the grocery store and everything costs more, or you go get fast food and instead of being like $11, it's like $18 for one meal. I understand that, but at the same time, with the cost of living now, minimum wage, you can't even live on your own, and you don't know how many places start at minimum wage, and then it's harder for other people to get a job whenever you don't have all the correct qualifications for a $15 job, an hour job. How great would it be for the next generation not to struggle like the people do in this generation? Low-wage workers would be able to afford basic necessities. Higher wages could reduce the employee turnover rate. Higher wage jobs could lift families out of poverty. If people made more money, sales and other things in the community could thrive, like getting a car or a new furniture set, like, things that people would actually need in life and not necessarily little wants. If there were higher wages, a lot more in the community would be able to afford to live on their own and not be living with their parents. Having higher wages could cause families to have a better life that are not living in poverty. Higher wages could help young people keep a steady job in this generation and not have a high turnover rate. Higher wages doesn't mean a happy life, but it means being able to make ends meet at least, and not be worried about how you're going to make ends meet every single week. I believe that if we had a higher minimum wage, it would make teens want to get a job and enjoy doing their job instead of hating it, especially teenagers. Teenagers hate going to work because they get paid little money, or especially if it's a slow job, you don't get paid that much money, which means you don't have that much money to go out and do whatever you want to go do, especially teenagers, because teenagers are always wanting jobs and wanting to make money, and then next thing you know, they hate their job because they're getting paid such little money and working so hard. And that's another thing. If a teenager is getting paid the amount of money they want to get paid, they might actually do their job better instead of slacking off. Today I talked about the minimum wage needs to be higher in the states and the reasons why I believe that. I want everyone not to give teens and adults who have minimum wage a hard time not being able to afford basic things they need. This is something a lot of people don't really think about, especially if you have a good paying job. So it's time for there to be a change and have a better understanding of everyone around you, and not just you and your job, and have an understanding of other people, teenagers, adults that don't get paid as much as you do. Just because you have something that other people don't, a lot of people don't understand that. Thank you.